But for the average, everyday cybersecurity professional, you're not going to be paying $16,000 a month for an apartment, riding around in a Rolls Royce. Like, this is not, that's not what this is.
Now I want to get into some of the fun stuff that people like that we do. This is called TikTok Hour. And what we do is we react to TikToks. Let me see if I got this right here. There we go. We react to TikToks that got to do with business, a job search, you name it. And we get to react to them in real time. Now, this particular one we're going to share is from my guy, Kyrie, GRC professional. He's always keeping it real on the talk. And so
cybersecurity can definitely be a launch point into that type of lifestyle, right? So I'm not saying that they're not living that life, but for the average, everyday cybersecurity professional, you're not going to be paying $16,000 a month for an apartment, riding around in a Rolls Royce. Like, this is not, that's not what this is. Now, of course, you can maybe build up your skills from your cybersecurity career and go into business for yourself, which maybe can provide that kind of lifestyle, or you can work your way up at a company to where you're making, $500,000 a year as a VP of cybersecurity or whatever the case may be. Or you can become a cybersecurity kind of like creator like I am. I know there's a lot of avenues for monetization that way, but cybersecurity as an industry by itself, it can provide you realistically with like an upper middle class kind of lifestyle, which really is not bad at all. But I just don't want you guys to get the perception that you're going to get an entry-level role in cybersecurity, and then the next day you're going to be on, private jets and flying out to these different cities and stuff like that. That's not the case. And again, I'm not hating on the people in this industry who have been able to build a business from their skills or who have been able to build a business off of their cybersecurity content. That's exactly what I'm trying to do, to be completely transparent, right? But I also want to make sure that, I want you guys to have reasonable expectations.
All right. Mic drop on that one. I know Lee got a lot to say about that.
Hey, it's the same story, different day. Content creators, they're selling you content, so if you're selling, somebody's buying it. So, they're gonna eat it up all the time. So it's been going on for some years now. So it's really up to the person to just actually look around and actually pay attention to people who, this is why I'm not so big on the content creation type of thing. Look at the real professionals who's actually in this field, who's not making a video about every single day in their life at work. I'm doing absolutely nothing with my private jet around in the backyard. If you're actually working in the field, you have a job. So a job is, you go to work, you're making your money to pay your bills, and it's really that. It's not, the concept is, hey, people want to live a lifestyle that is above and beyond a corporation, which is understandable. But the way it's being presented is that all you have to do is pay for my content or pay for my whatever they're selling, and you can have this lifestyle too. And it's just 99% chance not that you'll get. It's not going to be that. So, yeah.
I know Destiny's like she was itching to talk.
I am, because I love that video, and I love people who really just tell the truth, because it's not always going to start off that way for you. Not to say, like he said, that it can't, but it can. But 9 times, 8 times, 7 times out of 10, that's not really the case for everybody. And it's really important that you have people in your life to help you level set, because if you keep shooting for the stars and you never just shoot for the sky and start somewhere, if you don't shoot 6 feet up, how are we already shooting for the stars? So I just feel like I feel like that's what those are the type of videos and people that, if you're trying to break into the industry or, you're just curious, those are the type of people that you should look at, because they're telling you the truth. And I feel like in the last 2 years, at least for me, I've seen cybersecurity go to this big influencer world where, like he said, you're seeing things that aren't actually realistic, or even like there are a lot of people that work in tech but they're not technical, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like we have to be more honest. And just like, you know, they say like you are what you consume. If you consume on the regular those people who are selling you those click here, buy here, get rich courses, you'll make six figures after you take my course. If you only consume you know, your appetite with that type of content, then you aren't really gaining the full benefits that you could be from people who are telling you that it's not going to be like this. We're not saying you can't get there, but right off the back, it's very rare that that is just what people get to experience. So that those are the type of people that you want to make sure that you're following and that you're engaged with, because they're not trying to just sell you something with hopes of getting you here. Which I feel like kind of brings us to our next awesome video.
Yeah, you know, when I say stuff like that, you know, I'm a hater.
No,
Who calls you a hater for that? Please.
You already know who called me. They didn't call me a hater for that. They just called me a hater for a question of common sense.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if people see me saying, hey, I feel like that was a shot at somebody. We say you ain't gonna be in no private jet, because I only know one person who be in a private jet.
Hey, it's a couple of them, but yeah, it's mainly one.
Yeah, because I ain't seen nobody else talking about that was in a private jet. You know, that's internationally renowned, subject matter expert.
Destiny, get your boy.
I feel like it's a lot of it also has to do with like you can tell who's an influencer. Like you can tell. It feels influency. It doesn't feel like this is somebody that you can relate to at all. You feel like where they're at, you can never attain that when you're watching certain individuals. And I'm talking specifically talking to the people who aren't in the field, who are trying to be interested or trying to make that transition. Like, just like you can see when someone is doing like real estate scams, you can kind of see the same thing in this industry. You can tell just looking at the content.
I'm gonna tell you a secret that I've learned being on the internet the last 7 years. I'm actually gonna do a dedicated video like all the MLMs I've like either been a part of or ran into. Because as career coach and people not being able to find jobs, some people are savages on LinkedIn trying to trick people with no money to go do their MLM so they could be, you know, make 6 figures per month selling lotion or something. Like, so I'm definitely going to deep dive on that. But honestly, what you also find out a lot of times is most of the time, the people who are trying to convince to sell you a stuff are the people where that's getting paid off of what they're selling you, and they're not actually doing it. And I'll give you an example. It's a guy on my Instagram I see all the time who's teaching people. For example, he's not teaching people how to get better at podcasting. His whole niche is I'm teaching how to monetize your podcast or whatever. But at the same time, it's like you can't really show me how to monetize the podcast if you don't have a successful podcast of your own. Like the stuff that you're saying is cool, but people got to want to come on your podcast. People got to actually be decent at podcasting. And if every time all you're trying to do is every time I see a video, you're trying to convince me that you're making this money with these probably rented foreign cars or whatever, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. My favorite podcasters aren't trying to show people how to make money from podcasting. They just podcasting.
Exactly.
So that's what I just leave you with. Like, so people are trying to convince you of something that, you know, it may be too good to be true.
He usually is.
Started from the bottom, now we here.
What do you say? Good afternoon, my octoroon.
Yeah.
Got to keep it tight.
Yeah, man.